Please sit down. This is our second week of creation season, and the three readings today all help us explore the theme of water, the everyday and the spiritual value of water. Water is, of course, fundamental to life, and we are reminded, first of all, of the importance of respecting this precious gift through our stewardship of the earth. But let's see what further inspiration these readings from the Bible can give us. First of all, the New Testament passage, it describes a beautiful vision. It describes a mystical sacred river and trees along the banks of the river, which are for the healing of the nations. And although it's a vision from an early Christian, it's very similar to an older vision that we read about from the prophet Ezekiel. Ezekiel had this vision while he was in exile in Babylon, 500 years before Jesus. So it's a very powerful image of a life-giving river. Now, for the gospel reading, we have again water, don't we? We have this well, and the account of Jesus meeting a woman at the well and asking her for a drink. And then this is developed. This is only the beginning of this story. But it's developed, and Jesus talks about how he can offer a source of everlasting water that springs up within. And the woman engages with him, talks to him about that. So water and life itself, in all of these readings, we can see that it's inseparable. Life is completely dependent on water, isn't it? So that's common sense, but it also has a very mystical quality. Now then, we have this very vivid Old Testament story, or story from the Hebrew Scriptures, as Stephen said, in which three of King David's warriors, famous warriors, great heroes, and we hear a bit about them, their great heroic exploits, they risked their lives to go and fetch some water from a well in Bethlehem. So let's start with this story about these warriors of David. What's it about? Although the story is about events taking place 3,000 years ago, the situation is actually still quite real. It's about land grabbing and conflict over access to water and arable land, which is still going on now. King David's hometown of Bethlehem, and that is the town where Jesus was born, perhaps 1,000 years later, if I've got my times right, is under occupation. So Bethlehem is being occupied by the Philistines. Now the Philistines are often portrayed in the Bible, in the Old Testament, as the enemy people. They're a bit like the Vikings. If you've been watching recent films or TV programs, and the Vikings and the Philistines are similar because they both use ships and were fierce, and they use ships to go raiding and taking over territories in coastal regions. So they were doing that in the coastal regions of the Mediterranean in those days. So the Philistines caused a lot of problems to the ancient Israelites. So in this instance, they've taken over Bethlehem and they've stopped access to the water well. So King David is saying, I long to drink from the well of my own town. I wish someone could bring me water from that special well that I remember as a boy, that kind of thing. And what he really means is, I want to liberate Bethlehem. We need to free Bethlehem so we have access to the water again. But three of David's warriors, they take it literally, and they go on this heroic mission to get through the Philistine enemy lines, outwith themselves, to get some water from the well and bring it out to David. Perhaps they're proving a the Philistines, or they're making a heroic gesture. Now, in this water and arable land thing, we heard in the reading how one of these heroes, the exact thing that he's famous for already, is defending a field of lentils. A field of lentils. He risked his life, single-handed, to fight off enemies who are trying to take over a field of essential food crop. I think that's still happening. We're witnessing now, today, conflicts around the world, which are in essence exactly the same thing: access to arable land and water. Whether it's on a small scale, like one warrior defending a lentil field, or three guys getting across an encampment to get water out of the well, or on a huge scale, which is threatening the whole planet. Occupation of land, tightening borders, displacement of people, withdrawing of hospitality towards refugees, saying, no, you're not having this water. Go away. So the pressure on the nations to feed their people while facing conflict and flood and famine. Profit-driven destruction of ecosystems is here, isn't it? And it's escalating. And as we increasingly have to accept that this is climate change related, this destabilisation, we realise that it is a threat to life itself, to this beautiful earth, to us, to all life. And the water is at the heart of this. Account haunt us today, just as in previous generations, of the ordeals of innocent people in their attempts to get water. And not forgetting the irony of Israeli restrictions on Palestinian water supplies to people and to crops for the olive groves in these same lands where the Bible stories that we hear about took place. So let's stay with the Old Testament story for a minute, because it's a great one. Now, King David's three warrior heroes, and they break through these Philistine lines to fetch water out of the well. But what does King David do? He doesn't say, wow, thank you, noble warriors, have a medal. He pours the water on the ground. He doesn't drink it. Now, I wonder what the three warrior heroes think of that, watching him pour the water on the ground that they've just gone to fetch. But it's not to waste it or diminish what they've just done. To pour liquid on the ground in those days, and in that place, it was a sacred act. It says in the Bible, to pour blood on the ground, the blood of an animal, it's a way, it is returning the life of the creature, or the life of the person, back to God. Pouring blood on the earth is returning somehow the life back to God. It's interesting. So David, he's saying, well, this water is basically the blood of my heroes. They risk their lives. This is their life. This is their lifeblood that I've got here. I'm going to pour it on the earth to return it to God. That's how powerful it is. Okay? So it's too sacred for him to drink. It's too powerful. It's like drinking the blood of his warriors, his fighters. Okay, so in pouring this water from the well, it's from Bethlehem, remember? So we have this link to Jesus, if you like. Pouring it on the earth, giving it back to God, recognising the power of it. And this is right, this is for us now, in recognising the sanctity, the life that's in the water. Every time we take a glass of water, the life that's in the water. Water comes from God. God is the creator source of all life. Nothing can survive, can it, without water? And this is despite the way that different power groups attempt to control supplies of water, governments and multinational companies. We can't own it and possess it. We damage it, we limit it to one another, but we are stewards of the earth. And it's God's. David's right, he pours it back to God. The waters, the visions of Revelation and Ezekiel mystically, of how this water, it flows. Where does it flow from? It flows from the Holy of Holies, the sacred sanctuary, the temple. And there's a tradition that says the temple was built where the Garden of Eden was located. So there's all these layers of mystical symbolism that this water comes from the most sacred places. And it nourishes all life. The fish, the water creatures, people, the trees, it's all there. It's a constant reminder of the absolute holiness of water, the essentialness of it. And it's easy perhaps to forget in a place where it rains a lot and there seems to be a lot of water, but even our hosepipe ban over the summer and how unusual temperatures this summer, things starting to dry out. Even our own little community garden here is looking quite sorry for itself with a lack of water. So while holding on to this beautiful vision that we have in Revelation, this image of eternal hope in God's grace and His beautiful life-giving waters, it's very realistic to look at our own attitudes to water and to our land, and to ask how people of faith need to respond. So this brings me to the Gospel. What does the Gospel have to tell us? A lot. But the Gospel story describes Jesus, doesn't it? We hear about the story from Jesus' perspective, really, as though we're sort of following him or watching him. And we know the story, a lot of us know the story quite well. He's in a land where it's not really very welcome, for historical reasons. He's thirsty, he sits down, and a woman comes over and he asks her to get him some water out of the well. Because he hasn't got a bucket. Okay? But they turn it around and look at the story from the woman's perspective. What does it sound like then? So, here we have this woman. She's on her own at a quiet time of the day, and she's gone out of the space, out of the village or the town, to an ancestral well. Okay, so it's a place that's important to her. She's on her own. She looks towards the well and she sees that there's a Jewish man at the well. She knows because of the dress codes and things, people's clothing. She knows he's a strange man sitting at her well. Now, how does that feel to you? Right, I'm a lone woman, I've gone out on my own to a well, and I can see a strange man sitting there. How do I feel? How do you feel? How would I react? I might turn around and go back, get some friends. But she carried on. So that's the first thing. She's got quite a lot of courage, I think. Or she doesn't care. There's something about her. She says, oh, I'm going to get the water anyway. So, when she approaches Jesus, she doesn't know it's Jesus, does she? But she listens to him. He asks her for water, and she doesn't say, no, we're not having any. It's our well, go away. She listens to him. She asks him questions. They have a conversation. And the result of the conversation isn't that she says, well, you're still not having any water, go away. She goes and fetches her village friends, not to get aggressive and say, no, you're definitely going away, but to listen to him. Come and listen to this guy at the well. He's got something to say. So, there's something in this. We're used to hearing the parable of another Samaritan, the Good Samaritan, and he goes and he rescues someone that's been beaten up. You remember the story. And this is a story from Jesus about how we're supposed to be neighbourly to each other, meet in need. But the woman at the well is also a Good Samaritan. The stranger at the well happens to be Jesus in this case, but it could have been anybody. There's a very strong tradition in Christianity that woman is showing us that's what she's doing. She's meeting the stranger with courtesy, with respect, and listening to them, discovering in them some wisdom, some truth, something of God, and going and telling everybody about it. That's a model for Christian discipleship. Now, Jesus offers us something, doesn't he? He says, if you took water I can give, you'd never be thirsty again. So it starts a mysterious kind of conversation. But in a sense, I think that the woman, she's already got some of that knowledge and wisdom within her, because she recognises him as worth listening to. She responds with kindness and with humanity and respect. And that sort of tells me that she's already got an inkling of what it is she needs. She's ready to say yes and listen to him. And again, that's a model for discipleship, isn't it? What about us? Are we ready? Are we ready to meet the stranger and listen? We are asked in so many encounters, day by day, week by week, to respond like this, like her, with courage and with compassion. And where the stranger says, I'm thirsty, to offer the cup. So, as we turn to the Eucharist today, this is part of our reflection. This sense of thirsting and being offered the cup, offered the drink. And what is it that we thirst for? For the justice, for the peace, for the healing of the nations, for acceptance, for that encounter with Jesus, for the wellspring of eternal life that can well up within us. Well, what is it? What is our response to the stranger at the well? Not the no and the boundaries, keep away, keep out, that we see so often in the world, but the yes, the respect. And just as the woman doesn't keep this encounter to herself as an individual kind of experience, of wow, I had a moment with this amazing teacher, preacher, healer, I'll keep it to myself. She takes it to her community and shares it so everybody can grow. And what does that ask of us as a community? Our shared response at this time and in this world.